The phone screen glows in the darkness. 3 words burn into Victor's eyes. This number is blocked. His hand trembles. Rain hammers the 47th floor window of Sterling and Hayes Financial Group. The city spreads below him like scattered diamonds, but he sees nothing. Victor Sterling, 42 years old, billionaire CEO, man who built empires with his signature, stands frozen by 6 words from a waitress named Ramona Cole. She blocked him. The woman who makes $8 an hour plus tips just shut out the man worth $3.7 billion. Victor's throat tightens. He tries again. Same message. This number is blocked. He wants to laugh. He wants to scream. He does neither. His reflection stares back from the rain-streaked glass. Hollow-eyed. Defeated. His assistant Sarah knocks twice, enters without waiting. Mr. Sterling, we have a problem. Not now. It's about the Cole woman. Sarah's voice drops. Her brother's been asking questions. Desmond Ashford called 3 times today. Victor's head snaps up. Ashford? Ramona's maiden name. The family cut her off 7 years ago when she kept her son. Now the brother wants to know about your relationship with her. He mentioned lawyers. Hi, viewers. Kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. The room tilts. Victor grips the desk edge. Ramona never mentioned her brother reaching out. Never said anything about family contact after years of silence. The blocked number suddenly feels different, deliberate. Maybe she didn't just walk away from him. Maybe someone pushed her. Get me everything on Desmond Ashford, Victor says. Bank records, business deals, phone logs, everything. Sarah nods and leaves. Victor stares at his phone again. The block happened exactly 4 hours after he showed up at Mel's Corner Diner with photographers and a check for $500,000. He thought the grand gesture would prove his sincerity, show her he wasn't playing games. Instead, Ramona stood in her stained uniform, flour on her cheek, and looked at him like he'd slapped her. You think this is love? Her voice shook. Every customer watched. You think my son and I are some charity project you can fix with money? I spent 7 years proving I don't need the Ashford fortune. I won't trade one cage for another. She ripped the check in half. The cameras flashed. Victor tried to explain, but she walked into the kitchen and didn't come back. He waited 2 hours. She sent her manager to tell him to leave. That night, he called 17 times. Then came the block. Victor opens his contacts, scrolls to his daughter's name. Vivian Sterling, 15 years old, lives with her mother in Connecticut. The last text he sent was 3 weeks ago. Happy birthday, sweetheart. Love you. She responded 4 days later. Thanks for the money. The message before that, 2 months earlier. Can you increase my allowance? Her mother, Claudette, poisoned their relationship since the divorce 12 years ago. Told Vivienne, lies about affairs and abandonment. His daughter sees him as a wallet, nothing more. He almost calls her, stops. What would he even say? I drove away another person who mattered. I'm good at that. His phone buzzes. Unknown number. Victor answers without thinking. Mr. Sterling, male voice, smooth. Desmond Ashford, we need to talk about my sister. Victor's pulse spikes. How did you get this number? I have resources too. Look, I know Ramona blocked you. I know about the diner incident. The rejected check. Very public, very embarrassing for everyone involved. Desmond pauses. But I can help you fix this. My sister's stubborn, but she's also broke and exhausted. What do you want? A meeting. Tomorrow. I have information about Ramona you'll want to hear. Information that might explain why she reacted so strongly to your generosity. The line goes dead before Victor can respond. He stares at the phone. Something cold slides down his spine. Ramona never mentioned contact with Desmond. The Ashford family disowned her completely when she chose her son Tobias over their ultimatum. They refused to acknowledge their grandson's existence. 7 years of total silence. Now the brother calls the same day she blocks him. The timing screams setup. But setup for what? Victor's mind races through possibilities. Blackmail. Leverage. Some scheme to access his wealth through Ramona's connection. Or maybe he's wrong. Maybe Desmond genuinely wants to help reconcile them. Maybe family guilt finally caught up after years of cruelty. Victor walks to the window, presses his palm against cold glass. Below, tiny figures rush through rain with umbrellas and briefcases. Normal people living normal lives. He used to be one of them, 20 years ago. Before the money, before Claudette's betrayal, before his daughter learned to see him as an ATM instead of a father. Then, 6 weeks ago, he saw Ramona singing to Tobias on the sidewalk. The boy had scraped his knee. She used her only clean napkin to stop the bleeding, made funny faces to stop his tears, called him the bravest knight in all the kingdom. Something in Victor's chest cracked open watching her. She had nothing but gave everything. He had everything but gave nothing that mattered. He started returning to the diner, left massive tips, helped Tobias with homework, attended the school play when Ramona's shift ran late. For the first time in a decade, Victor felt human again, felt needed for something beyond his signature on contracts. Then he ruined it with money. Just like he ruins everything. His phone buzzes again. Text from Sarah. Preliminary report on Desmond Ashford attached. Victor opens the file. His blood runs cold. The Ashford family fortune is gone. Desmond burned through $70 million in 6 years. Bad investments, gambling debts, luxury cars. The family estate is mortgaged 3 times over. Bankruptcy filing pending. And there, buried in the financial records, a trust fund established by Ramona's grandmother. $10 million. Accessible only to Ramona or her direct descendants. Protected from creditors. Untouchable. Unless Ramona reconciles with the family and agrees to share. Victor's hands shake. Desmond isn't trying to help. He's trying to use Victor as a weapon to break down Ramona's defenses, get her vulnerable, get her desperate enough to consider family contact again. Then swoop in with dying parent stories or fake apologies. Gain access to Tobias. Access to the trust. The phone rings. School name on the caller ID. Victor's stomach drops. It's 9 p.m. Schools don't call at 9 p.m. unless something terrible happened. Mr. Sterling? The voice sounds young, scared. This is Principal Chen at Tobias Cole's school. You're listed as an emergency contact. We've been trying to reach Miss Cole for 2 hours, but her phone goes straight to voicemail. Tobias collapsed during after-school program. Allergic reaction. He's at Mercy General Hospital right now, and he keeps asking for you. The world stops. Victor can't breathe. Can't think. Tobias is 7 years old. Ramona is unreachable. The boy is alone in a hospital, asking for him. I'm on my way. Victor runs. Chapter 2. The hospital smells like disinfectant and fear. Victor's shoes squeak on linoleum as he sprints past the emergency room desk. A nurse yells something about visiting hours. He ignores her, takes the stairs 3 at a time. 4th floor pediatrics, room 417. Tobias lies small and pale in the bed. IV in his thin arm. Monitors beep steady rhythms. His eyes are closed. Victor's chest constricts. He approaches slowly. Sits in the chair beside the bed. Reaches for Tobias's hand, then stops. What right does he have? Ramona blocked him. Cut him out. This isn't his child, isn't his family, but Tobias asked for him. The boy's eyes flutter open. Uncle Victor? Hey, buddy. Victor's voice cracks. I'm here. Mama's at work. They couldn't find her. I got scared. Tears slide down Tobias's cheeks. My throat got tight, and I couldn't breathe, and everything got fuzzy. You're safe now. The doctors are taking good care of you. Victor finally takes the small hand. Squeezes gently. What happened? Birthday cupcakes at after school. I told Miss Amy I can't have peanuts. She said these were safe. But they weren't. Tobias's breathing hitches. Am I gonna die like the goldfish? No. Absolutely not. You're going to be fine. A doctor enters. Young woman with tired eyes and a kind smile. You're the father? Family friend. His mother's unreachable. Working double shift. Phone probably died. The doctor nods. Severe anaphylactic reaction to peanut contamination. We administered epinephrine. He'll need to stay overnight for observation. But he should make a full recovery. We'll need parental consent for the treatment protocol. Victor pulls out his phone. Calls Ramona's number before remembering. This number is blocked. He curses under his breath. I'll find her. He calls Mel's Corner Diner. The manager answers on the fifth ring. Music and voices clash in the background. Yeah? This is Victor Sterling. I need to speak with Ramona Cole immediately. It's about her son. Ramona left an hour ago. Covered Diane's shift until 8. Then went to her second job at the warehouse. Victor's jaw clenches. She's working 3 jobs now. After he tried to help. After he offered to make her life easier. She chose exhaustion over his assistance. Chose pride over comfort. Part of him admires her. Part of him wants to shake her until she understands she doesn't have to do this alone. Which warehouse? Delta Logistics on Industrial Boulevard. But she don't like interruptions. Gets her pay docked. Victor hangs up. Looks at Tobias. I'm going to get your mama. I'll be back in 30 minutes. The nurses will take good care of you until then. Promise? You'll come back? The question hits like a fist. Victor remembers asking his own father the same thing once. Dad never came back. Heart attack at 49. Worked himself to death building a business that collapsed 6 months later. Victor swore he'd never be that man. Yet here he stands, worrying a 7-year-old boy the same way. I promise. Victor runs again. The warehouse squats like a gray beast under flickering streetlights. Victor's Mercedes looks obscene in the cracked parking lot. He ignores security. Pushes through the employee entrance. Heat hits him first. Then, noise. Conveyor belts screech. Forklifts beep. Workers shout over machinery. He spots her near the loading dock. Ramona wears a bright yellow safety vest over her thin frame. Hair pulled back. Face shining with sweat. She's lifting boxes that look too heavy, stacking them on pallets with mechanical efficiency. Her movements are practiced. Exhausted. She doesn't see him. Victor approaches. A supervisor blocks his path. Large man with a clipboard and attitude. Employees only past this point. I need to speak with Ramona Cole. Family emergency. She's on the clock. No personal business during shifts. Victor's patience snaps. He pulls out his wallet. Extracts $500 bills. She gets the rest of the night off. Paid. The supervisor's eyes widen. He snatches the money. 15 minutes. Victor pushes past him. Ramona sees him now. Her face goes through shock, confusion, then anger. She drops the box she's holding. Stalks toward him. Other workers watch. This will be another public scene. Victor doesn't care. What are you doing here? Ramona hisses. I told you we're done. I blocked you for a reason. Tobias is in the hospital. Allergic reaction at school. I've been trying to reach you for 2 hours. Victor watches her face drain of color. Your phone's dead. They called me because I'm listed as emergency contact. Ramona sways. Victor catches her elbow. She jerks away. Which hospital? Is he okay? Why didn't anyone tell me? Mercy General. 4th floor. He's stable. They gave him epinephrine. He's asking for you. Victor keeps his voice steady. Clinical. If he shows emotion now, she'll crumble. She's already running. Victor follows. They don't speak during the 15-minute drive. Ramona stares out the window. Her hands twist in her lap. Victor sees her lips moving. Prayer or panic, he can't tell. Maybe both. At the hospital, Ramona bolts from the car before he fully stops. Security yells. She ignores them. Victor parks and follows more slowly. Gives her time alone with Tobias. That's what a real friend would do. That's what someone who isn't trying to control her would do. He finds them 20 minutes later. Ramona sits on Tobias's bed. The boy sleeps in her arms. She's crying silently. Tears drip onto Tobias's hospital gown. Her whole body shakes. Victor stands in the doorway, doesn't enter. This moment isn't his. Ramona looks up, sees him. Her expression does something complicated. Gratitude mixed with resentment. Relief mixed with anger. You stayed with him. Of course. The nurse said you held his hand, promised him he wouldn't die like his goldfish. Fresh tears spill. He was alone and scared, and I wasn't here because I was stacking boxes for $9 an hour. You were working to provide for him. That's not a crime. I was working because I'm too stubborn to accept help, too proud to admit I can't do this alone. Ramona's voice breaks. If you hadn't been listed as emergency contact, if you hadn't come, he would have been alone for hours while I loaded trucks. Victor steps into the room, stops 3 feet from the bed. That's what matters, is it? Ramona looks down at her sleeping son. Because right now, I feel like the worst mother in the world. I can't afford the medical bills from tonight. Can't afford to miss work tomorrow. Can't afford the EpiPen the doctor says he needs to carry everywhere. I can barely afford to keep him fed and clothed. What kind of mother can't protect her own child? The rawness in her voice destroys Victor. He wants to fix everything. Write checks. Make calls. Use his power to eliminate every obstacle between Ramona and peace. But he learned that lesson already. Money isn't the answer she needs. The kind of mother who works 3 jobs, who sings to scrape knees, who sacrificed her entire family fortune to keep her son. Victor moves closer. Tobias doesn't care about EpiPens or medical bills. He cares that you show up, that you love him. You do both perfectly. Ramona laughs bitterly. I didn't show up tonight, but I did. The words hang between them. And before you get angry, I didn't do it because of you. I did it because Tobias asked for me. Because 6 weeks ago, a little boy started calling me Uncle Victor, and I realized I've been waiting 15 years for someone to need me for something other than money. Silence falls. Machines beep. Somewhere down the hall, a baby cries. Ramona studies Victor's face like she's seeing him for the first time. Your daughter, Vivian, she's 15, lives with her mother, hates me. Or maybe she's indifferent, which is worse. Victor sits in the chair. Exhaustion crashes over him. Her mother spent 12 years convincing her I'm a monster. Now, Vivian only contacts me for credit card increases. I keep hoping she'll call and just want to talk. She never does. Is that why you latched onto Tobias? Trying to replace what you lost? The question should hurt. Instead, it feels like relief. Finally, someone brave enough to ask. Maybe at first, but not anymore. Tobias isn't a replacement. He's just a kid who deserves better than food insecurity and medical debt. You both do. Ramona opens her mouth, closes it. A man in an expensive suit appears in the doorway. Tall, mid-30s, same sharp cheekbones as Ramona, same green eyes. He smiles. It doesn't reach those eyes. Hello, sister. It's been a long time. Ramona goes rigid. Tobias stirs in her arms. Victor stands, places himself between the bed and the doorway without thinking. The man's smile widens. Desmond. Ramona's voice could freeze blood. Get out. I heard about Tobias's accident. Came as soon as I could. Desmond's gaze slides to Victor. Mr. Sterling. We spoke on the phone. Thank you for taking such good care of my nephew. Victor's hands curl into fists. This is the brother. The one who called tonight. The one who burned through 70 million and now needs access to Ramona's trust. The timing is too perfect. Tobias's emergency. Ramona unreachable. Victor conveniently present to play hero. Unless it wasn't an accident. Victor's mind races. Birthday cupcakes at after-school program. Teacher assured Tobias they were peanut-free. But they weren't. Simple mistake, happens all the time. Except Tobias's severe peanut allergy is documented in his school file. Staff receive annual training. The program director is famously careful about allergens. Yet somehow, contaminated cupcakes appeared. Somehow, a teacher gave assurances. Somehow, Tobias nearly died on the same day Desmond started making contact. Ramona stands, gently lays Tobias back on the bed, tucks the blanket around him, turns to face her brother. I said get out. That's no way to greet family. Desmond steps into the room. He moves like someone accustomed to taking up space. Mom and Dad have been asking about you. About their grandson. They want to make amends. Amends. Ramona spits the word. Where were they when I was 19 and pregnant and terrified? Where were they when Tobias was born? When he took his first steps? Started school? They had 7 years to make amends. Now, suddenly they care? People change. Age brings perspective. They realize they made mistakes. Desmond's voice drips false sympathy. They're getting older. They want to know their grandson before it's too late. Victor watches Ramona's face. She wants to believe. Despite everything, some part of her wants her parents to finally choose her. The hope in her eyes physically hurts to witness. When did they reach out? Victor asks quietly. Desmond's gaze snaps to him. Excuse me? Simple question. When did your parents suddenly develop this burning desire to meet the grandson they've ignored for 7 years? Victor crosses his arms. Was it before or after you burned through the family fortune? The room temperature drops. Desmond's smile vanishes. I don't know what you're talking about. $70 million. Gone in 6 years. Bad investments. Gambling debts. The estate mortgaged 3 times over. Bankruptcy filing pending. Victor rattles off facts like weapons. But there's one asset you can't touch. Ramona's grandmother's trust. $10 million. Accessible only to Ramona or her direct descendants. Ramona gasps, looks at her brother. Is that true? It's complicated. Desmond's mask cracks. The family hit some rough patches. Temporary setbacks. Nothing we can't recover from. But yes, grandmother's trust would help stabilize things. It's family money. It should help the whole family. The whole family. Ramona laughs, high and broken. The family that threw me away. That called me a disgrace. That told me to abort my baby or never come home. That family wants my help now? You're being dramatic. Mom and Dad were hurt. You chose a pregnancy over them. They reacted badly. But 7 years is long enough to hold a grudge. Desmond steps closer. Tobias deserves to know his grandparents. To grow up with advantages. Private schools, summer camps, college funds. Everything you can't give him on your own. The barb lands. Ramona flinches. Victor moves before thinking. Places himself between them. She asked you to leave. This is a family matter. Then respect your sister's wishes and go. Desmond looks at Ramona. Is this your guard dog now? Trading one rich man for another? I thought you were too proud for that. Leave. Ramona's voice shakes. Leave right now or I'll call security. Fine. But think about what I said. Mom and Dad want to meet Tobias. They're prepared to welcome both of you back. All you have to do is come home. Desmond pulls out a business card, sets it on the bedside table. Call me when you're ready to stop being stubborn. He leaves. Silence crashes down. Ramona stares at the business card like it's a snake. Victor wants to grab it. Throw it away. Protect her from the poison it represents. But this isn't his choice to make. Is it true? Ramona whispers. About the money? About Desmond? Yes. I had my assistant pull financial records after he called me tonight. Everything's verifiable. Victor hesitates. I think he's been watching you, waiting for an opportunity to use your connection to me as leverage, make you seem desperate. Then swoop in with the family reconciliation angle. The cupcakes. Ramona's face goes white. You think he had something to do with Tobias's reaction? I think the timing is suspicious. But I have no proof. Just instinct. Ramona sits heavily, puts her head in her hands. My family's broke. My brother's desperate. And the only thing standing between them and total ruin is access to my son. She looks up. Tears stream down her face. They'd hurt Tobias to get to me. Their own grandson. We don't know that for certain. But you suspect it. I can see it in your face. Ramona wipes her eyes. God, I'm so stupid. I actually felt hope for a second. Thought maybe they finally cared. But it's always about money. With them. With everyone. The accusation stings. Victor knows she's including him in that statement. Not everyone. Really? Because you showed up at my job with photographers and a $500,000 check, made a spectacle of my poverty, tried to buy your way into my life like I'm some project you can fix. Ramona stands. I know you think you're different, but you're not. You're just richer. Victor absorbs the words. They hurt because they're partially true. You're right. I handled everything wrong. I treated your struggles like a business problem. Threw money at symptoms instead of understanding root causes. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't help. Sorry doesn't change that. I blocked you for a reason. You crossed a line. Ramona moves to Tobias's bedside, smooths his hair. I appreciate you being here tonight. I'm grateful you stayed with Tobias when I couldn't. But that doesn't mean we're okay. That doesn't mean I want you in our lives. The rejection lands like a physical blow. Victor nods slowly. I understand. Do you? Ramona faces him. Because you keep trying to save me. Keep trying to fix things. But I don't need saving. I need respect. I need someone who understands that my choices have value even if they're harder than yours. I do respect you. Then respect this. Stay away from us. Don't call. Don't visit. Don't send money or gifts or opportunities. Let me raise my son the way I choose, without interference. Ramona's voice breaks. Please. Victor's throat closes. He wants to argue. Wants to explain that he's not trying to control her. That he just wants to help. That watching her work 3 jobs while Tobias goes without breaks his heart. But arguing would prove her point. Arguing would be another attempt to override her choices. Okay, the word costs him everything. If that's what you want, it is. Victor walks to the door, stops, looks back at Tobias sleeping peacefully, at Ramona standing guard like a warrior. For what it's worth, you're the strongest person I've ever met. Tobias is lucky to have you. He leaves before she can respond. The hospital corridor stretches endless. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead. Victor's footsteps echo. He makes it to the elevator before his hands start shaking. Makes it to his car before the tears come. He sits in the parking lot for 20 minutes, stares at his phone. This number is blocked glows in his memory. He lost her. Lost Tobias. Lost the only people who made him feel human in over a decade. The phone rings. Unknown number. Victor answers without caring. Dad? His daughter's voice. Vivienne. Calling him Dad instead of using his name. Victor's heart stops. Vivienne? I need to talk to you. Not about money. Just to talk. Can you come to Connecticut? Please? The drive to Connecticut takes 2 hours. Victor barely remembers the road. His mind spins with possibilities. Vivienne wants to talk. No demands, no requests for credit increases. Just talk. After 7 years of silence and financial transactions disguised as a relationship, his daughter finally reached out. Fear and hope war in his chest. This could be another manipulation. Another scheme orchestrated by Claudette to extract something. Or it could be real, a genuine chance to rebuild what he destroyed through neglect and absence. Vivienne's address leads to a modest apartment complex in New Haven. Nothing like the mansion Claudette got in the divorce. Victor parks. Checks the number twice. This can't be right. His daughter lives in a luxury condo in Westport. Claudette made sure he knew. Sent photos of Vivienne's walk-in closet and private bathroom. Justified every expense increase. Yet here's the address Vivienne texted. Building C, apartment 12. Victor climbs stairs that smell like old carpet and cooking. Knocks on apartment 12. Waits. The door opens. His daughter stands there. 15 years old. She has her mother's dark hair but his gray eyes. She's thinner than the photos. Wearing jeans and a plain shirt. No designer labels. No expensive accessories. "Hi, Dad." Vivian's voice is small, uncertain. "Hi, sweetheart." Victor doesn't move. Doesn't assume a hug is welcome. "Nice place. It's not mine. It's Mom's boyfriend's. She moved in with him 6 months ago." Vivian steps back. "Come in. He's at work. We can talk." The apartment is cramped. Generic furniture. Walls thin enough to hear neighbors arguing. Nothing like what Victor pays for. Nothing like the lifestyle his child support and extras should provide. Vivienne sits on a worn couch. Victor takes the chair across from her. "I don't live in Westport anymore," Vivienne says without preamble. "Mom lost the condo. Behind on payments. The walk-in closet was rented furniture for photos. She wanted you to think everything was fine, so you'd keep sending money." Victor's world tilts. How long? 2 years. Maybe 3. She's good at hiding it. Vivienne picks at a thread on her jeans. "All the money you send for my expenses?" She uses it for other stuff. Her boyfriend's gambling debts. Her shopping. Botox. "I don't see most of it." Rage builds in Victor's chest. Hot and consuming. Claudette has been lying. Stealing from their daughter. Using Vivian as a prop to extract money while living in someone else's apartment. "Why didn't you tell me? Mom said you wouldn't care. Said you only send money out of guilt, not love. That if I told you the truth, you'd cut us off completely." Vivian finally looks up. Tears shine in her eyes. "I believed her. You never called just to talk. Never asked about school or friends or anything real. Just sent money and expensive gifts. Like you were checking boxes on a list." The accusation mirrors Ramona's. "You think money fixes everything. You don't see people, just problems to solve." Victor wants to defend himself. Explain that Claudette made personal contact impossible. That every attempt at real conversation got filtered through lawyers and hostility. But Vivienne's right too. He took the easy path. Wrote checks, instead of fighting harder for connection. Let his daughter believe distance equaled indifference. "You're right," Victor says quietly. "I should have tried harder. Should have shown up instead of just sending money. I'm sorry." Vivienne wipes her eyes. "I saw your name in a news article. About helping a kid at the hospital. Tobias Cole. The article said you stayed with him for hours. Held his hand. Made sure he wasn't alone." Her voice cracks. "You did that for a stranger's kid. I started wondering if maybe Mom was wrong. Maybe you do care about more than money." Victor's throat tightens. The article must have run this morning. Local interest piece about a CEO showing compassion. He didn't even know it existed. Yet, it reached his daughter. Changed something. Tobias isn't a stranger. He's the son of someone I care about. Someone who's also angry at me for thinking money solves everything. Victor manages a bitter laugh. "Seems to be my pattern. Trying to help, making things worse. What happened?" Victor tells her, "Not everything, but enough." Meeting Ramona and Tobias. The connection he felt. His disastrous attempt at grand gestures. The blocked number. Desmond's manipulation. Tobias's emergency. Ramona's final rejection. Vivian listens without interrupting. When he finishes, she's quiet for a long moment. She's scared. Vivian finally says, "This Ramona lady. She's scared you'll turn into her family. Use money to control her. Take away her choices." She looks at her father. "Like how Mom uses your money to control me. Makes me dependent on it. Makes me complicit in lying to you because I need it to survive." Understanding crashes over Victor. Vivian isn't just telling him about Claudette's schemes. She's confessing. Asking forgiveness for her part in the deception. Explaining why she kept her distance. You're not responsible for your mother's choices, Victor says firmly. You were a child trying to survive a situation you didn't create. I should have protected you better. How? Mom has custody. The courts sided with her. You tried to visit more. She blocked it. You tried to call. She monitored everything. Vivian's anger surfaces. She made you into a villain, so I'd never question why my life didn't match the money you sent. Easier to believe my rich dad didn't care than to admit my mom was stealing from me. Victor moves to the couch, sits beside his daughter. Carefully, giving her time to pull away, he puts his arm around her shoulders. Vivian collapses against him. Sobs shake her thin frame. He holds her while 15 years of lies and manipulation break open. I'm here now, Victor whispers. We'll figure this out together. They sit like that until Vivian's tears stop. She pulls back, wipes her face with her sleeve. I have proof. Bank statements. Mom doesn't know I copied. Receipts. Text messages. I've been collecting evidence for months. Why? Because I turned 16 in 3 months. Old enough to choose which parent I want to live with. I want to choose you. But I needed proof that Mom's been lying, that you're not the monster, she says. Vivian meets his eyes. Are you a monster? The question deserves honesty. Sometimes. In business, definitely. I've crushed companies, destroyed careers, built an empire on being ruthless. Victor pauses. But with you? Never. I failed you through absence and ignorance. But I never stopped loving you, never stopped hoping we'd get another chance. I want to live with you. In New York. Start over. Vivian's voice strengthens. But I need to know you'll actually be there. Not just physically. Emotionally. I need a dad, not a banker. Victor thinks of Ramona's words. Respect. Understanding. Presence, beyond money. His daughter is asking for the same thing. A chance to be seen as a person, not a problem to solve with his checkbook. I'll be there. I'll make mistakes. I'll probably try to fix things with money sometimes, because that's what I know. But I'll try. I'll show up. I'll listen. Victor takes Vivian's hand. We'll figure it out together. Vivian smiles. Small but real. Together, sounds good. They talk for 2 more hours. About school. Friends. Vivian's love of photography. Her dreams of college. Normal father-daughter conversation. Victor's phone buzzes multiple times. He ignores it. Nothing matters more than this moment. This second chance. Finally, Vivian yawns. Mom will be home soon. You should go before she makes a scene. Victor stands reluctantly. I'll call my lawyer tomorrow. Start the custody modification process. It might take time, I know. But knowing it's happening helps. Vivian walks him to the door. Hugs him quickly. Thanks for coming. For listening. Thank you for calling. For giving me another chance. Victor kisses the top of her head. I love you, sweetheart. Love you too, Dad. Victor drives back to New York with something that feels like hope. He lost Ramona, but he's getting his daughter back. Maybe he can't fix everything. Maybe some relationships are beyond saving. But this one, the one that matters most, might survive his mistakes. His phone shows 6 missed calls from Sarah, 3 voicemails. He listens to the first one. Mr. Sterling. We have a situation. Ramona Cole's apartment was broken into tonight. She and Tobias are fine. They weren't home. But someone trashed the place. Police are investigating. She's asking for you. Glass crunches under Victor's shoes. Ramona's apartment door hangs crooked on broken hinges. Police tape crosses the threshold like yellow warning stripes. Inside, chaos. Furniture overturned. Cushions slashed. Drawers dumped across the floor. Tobias's drawings ripped from the refrigerator and scattered like confetti. Victor's hands shake. He steps carefully through the destruction. A police officer tries to stop him. He shows identification, explains his connection. The officer nods, points toward the building manager's office downstairs. Ramona sits on a folding chair. Tobias curls in her lap. Both wear the same clothes from the hospital. Neither slept. Ramona's eyes are red. Empty. She looks up when Victor enters. Something passes across her face. Relief. Anger. Exhaustion. "You came," she whispers. "Sarah said you asked for me." Victor crouches in front of her. Keeps his voice gentle. "What happened?" "We came home from the hospital an hour ago. Found the door broken, everything destroyed." Ramona's arms tighten around Tobias. "They took nothing. Just trashed everything we own. My work uniforms. Tobias's school supplies. The photo album from when he was born. All ruined." Tobias lifts his head. His face is blotchy from crying. "Someone broke my night castle. Uncle Victor. The one you helped me build." Victor's chest constricts. 3 weeks ago, he spent an evening on Ramona's floor, assembling elaborate Lego castle with Tobias. The boy treasured it, showed it to everyone who visited. Now it's destroyed. Pieces ground into the carpet. "We'll build a better one," Victor says. "Even bigger. Promise?" "Promise." The building manager approaches. Older woman with kind eyes and tired shoulders. "Miss Cole, I'm so sorry. We had 2 break-ins this month. I keep asking the owner to improve security. He refuses. Says it's too expensive." She hands Ramona a business card. "This is my nephew. He runs a domestic violence shelter. They have emergency housing. It's not much, but it's safe and clean." Ramona takes the card with trembling fingers. "Thank you, Mrs. Chen." Victor stands. Approaches the manager. "Who owns this building?" "Ashford Properties. They bought it 6 months ago. Raised rent, cut maintenance. Half the building's moved out already." Mrs. Chen shakes her head. "Shame. This used to be a good place to live. Ashford Properties. Desmond's family company. The one bleeding money." Victor's mind races. Ramona lives in a building her brother owns. The same brother who appeared at the hospital. Who wants access to her trust fund? Who needs her desperate enough to reconcile? This isn't random. This is strategy. "Did security cameras catch anything?" Victor asks. "Cameras haven't worked in 3 months. Owner won't fix them." "Of course not." Convenient how everything that might provide evidence conveniently fails. Victor pulls out his phone. Calls Sarah. "I need a security team at my penthouse immediately. And contact Peterson at Mercy General. I want Tobias's medical records sealed. No family access, without Ramona's written consent." Ramona stands, settles Tobias on her hip. "What are you doing?" "Making sure you're both safe." Victor pockets his phone. "You can't stay here. The shelter Mrs. Chen mentioned is a good option. Or, I have guest rooms at my place. Separate wing, complete privacy, security system, doorman. No one gets in without clearance. We're not staying with you. I know. I'm just offering options." Victor keeps his tone neutral. "The shelter is probably better anyway. More appropriate. I'll cover the costs there if they charge fees." Ramona studies his face. Searches for manipulation. Control. The usual patterns. Victor meets her gaze. Lets her see his sincerity. His fear. His desperate need to know she and Tobias are somewhere safe while he figures out what Desmond is planning. "Why are you helping us?" Ramona finally asks. "I told you to stay away. Blocked your number. Made it clear we're done. Yet, here you are. Because Tobias asked me to build another castle, and I keep my promises to 7-year-olds. Victor glances at the broken Legos, ground into carpet. "And because I think your brother orchestrated this. The timing's too perfect. Hospital emergency. Reconciliation offer. Now, a break-in that destroys your stability. He's pushing you toward dependence, toward desperation, toward accepting his help. You think Desmond did this? I think Desmond is bankrupt, and you're the only thing standing between him and financial ruin. I think he'll do whatever it takes to access your trust fund, even terrorize his own sister." Victor's voice hardens. And I think the cupcake incident at Tobias's school wasn't an accident. Ramona goes pale. Tobias whimpers. She shushes him softly, rocks him like she did when he was a baby. You're saying my brother tried to kill my son? I'm saying someone who knew about Tobias's peanut allergy contaminated those cupcakes. Someone who benefits from you being scared and overwhelmed. Someone who showed up at the hospital with perfect timing and a reconciliation offer. Victor pauses. I have investigators looking into it. But yes, I think Desmond is willing to hurt Tobias to get what he wants. The police officer approaches. Young man with a notepad and exhausted expression. Miss Cole, we've finished processing the scene. No fingerprints, no DNA. Whoever did this wore gloves, knew what they were doing. We'll file a report, but without evidence or witnesses, there's not much we can do. Ramona nods. Doesn't speak. The officer leaves. Silence falls. Mrs. Chen excuses herself quietly. Victor, Ramona, and Tobias stand in the manager's office, surrounded by the smell of old coffee and photocopier toner. I can't go to a shelter, Ramona says. I have work in 6 hours. Double shift at the diner. Tobias has school. We need our routine. Our normal life. Your normal life just got destroyed by someone who wants to manipulate you into giving up your son's inheritance. Victor steps closer. Please, let me help. Not with money, with safety. My building has security. Cameras that actually work. Guards who check identification. Desmond can't get to you there. He's my brother. He wouldn't actually hurt us. Are you sure? Because 2 days ago, you were sure your family wanted nothing to do with you. Now Desmond's making reconciliation offers, while your apartment gets trashed and your son nearly dies from contaminated food. Victor's voice drops. How sure are you willing to be with Tobias's safety? The question lands. Ramona looks down at her son. Tobias has fallen asleep against her shoulder, exhausted from fear and hospital IVs and watching his home get destroyed. She kisses his forehead, breathes him in, makes a decision that costs her everything she believes about independence. One night? We'll stay one night while I figure out something else. Victor releases a breath he didn't know he was holding. One night. That's all I'm asking. They gather what survives the break-in. 2 garbage bags of clothes, Tobias's stuffed rabbit. The photo album turns out to be salvageable. Someone stomped on it. But the pictures inside are mostly intact. Ramona clutches it like a lifeline. Victor's car feels obscenely luxurious compared to the destruction they're leaving behind. Ramona sits in back with Tobias, stares out the window, doesn't speak during the 20-minute drive to Victor's building. The doorman recognizes Victor, opens doors with professional courtesy, doesn't react to the garbage bags, or the sleeping child, or Ramona's 1,000-yard stare. The elevator rises 52 floors in smooth silence. Victor's penthouse spans the entire floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcase the city glittering below. Modern furniture, expensive art, everything Ramona despises about wealth on display. Guest rooms are this way. Victor leads them down a hallway. Opens a door. Bedroom, bathroom, sitting area. Fully stocked. Tobias can take the connecting room or sleep with you. Whatever's comfortable. Ramona enters slowly. Sets the garbage bags down. The bed is enormous. White linens, soft pillows. She touches the comforter like it might bite. There's food in the kitchen. Help yourself to anything. Coffee maker, tea. I'll be in my office if you need something. Victor backs toward the door, gives her space. Lock the door if it makes you feel safer. You're not prisoners, you're guests. Victor. Ramona turns. Thank you. I hate needing your help. Hate that I couldn't protect my son on my own. But thank you. You don't have to thank me. Just rest. We'll figure out next steps in the morning. Victor closes the door. Hears the lock click. Stands in the hallway for a long moment. Then he pulls out his phone. Calls his head of security. I need surveillance on Desmond Ashford. 24/7. I want to know everywhere he goes, everyone he contacts, every financial transaction. Victor's voice could cut glass. And I need information on the teacher who gave Tobias those cupcakes. Background check. Financial records. Find out if Desmond made contact with her. He hangs up, looks out the window at the city below. Somewhere out there, Desmond is planning his next move, counting on fear and family loyalty to break Ramona's resolve, waiting for her to get desperate enough to accept his help. Victor's phone buzzes. Text from an unknown number. Opens it. His blood runs cold. A photo. Taken tonight. Victor and Ramona leaving her destroyed apartment. Tobias asleep in her arms. The angle suggests someone watching from across the street. Waiting. Documenting. Below the photo, a message. She's making this harder than it needs to be. Tell my sister to call me. Or next time, it won't just be furniture that gets broken. Victor doesn't sleep. Sits in his office with security footage from the building playing on multiple screens. Watches Ramona finally emerge from the guest room at 6 a.m. She wears one of his old shirts, too big, sleeves rolled, moves quietly through the kitchen like she's afraid to disturb anything. He gives her 10 minutes. Then joins her. She's making coffee. The expensive kind makes me nervous, Ramona admits. Afraid I'll break it. It's just a coffee maker. Can't be broken by normal use. Victor pulls 2 mugs from the cabinet. How'd you sleep? Didn't. Kept waiting for someone to break down the door. She pours coffee with shaking hands. Tobias slept though. First time in days he didn't have nightmares. Victor shows her the text. Watches color drain from her face. She sets down her coffee, grips the counter, breathes through her nose like she's fighting nausea. He was watching us. My brother was watching us leave. Her voice cracks. He threatened Tobias. Actually threatened a 7-year-old child. I have security tracking him now. We'll know his next move before he makes it. Victor pockets his phone. But we need to talk about your parents. About whether Desmond's claims are true. Are they really asking to meet Tobias? Ramona laughs. Bitter and broken. I don't know. Haven't spoken to them in 7 years. They made their choice. I made mine. I assumed we'd die strangers to each other. Would you want a relationship if the offer was genuine? The question hangs. Ramona stares into her coffee. Victor sees her warring with herself. Pride versus longing. Anger versus hope. The child who still wants her parents' approval fighting the woman who survived their rejection. Maybe, if they actually cared about Tobias. About being grandparents instead of accessing money. She looks up. But that's not what this is. Desmond wouldn't contact them unless he needed something. He probably convinced them to play along. Dangle reconciliation to manipulate me. We can find out. I can have investigators contact your parents directly. Confirm whether they know about Desmond's schemes. And if they don't, if they're innocent, I'd be exposing family drama. Proving I'm as difficult as they always said. Ramona sets down her mug. If they are involved, I'm confirming their worst beliefs. That I'm paranoid, ungrateful, unable to accept love. Victor understands. Every choice leads to pain. Every path confirms old wounds. Ramona can't win, because the game is designed to destroy her either way. What if we approach this differently? Victor moves to the window, thinks out loud. Desmond wants you desperate, isolated, willing to accept his help. So we do the opposite. We make you secure, stable, show him you don't need the Ashford money because you're building your own life. With your money instead? How is that different? It's not my money, it's a job, a real one. At my company. Victor turns. We have an opening in our community outreach program. Working with families in financial crisis, connecting them to resources, helping them navigate systems. It's legitimate work. 40 hours a week, benefits, childcare assistance, salary that would let you quit the diner and warehouse. Ramona's eyes narrow. You're offering me a job. I'm offering you an opportunity. One you're qualified for. You've been surviving poverty for 7 years, raising a child alone, managing impossible budgets. Those are transferable skills. Our program needs someone who understands the people we serve, someone with empathy and experience. Convenient how this opening appeared right when I need it. The position's been open for 3 months. Sarah's been interviewing candidates. None fit. Victor crosses his arms. You can interview with her. Go through the normal process. Prove you're qualified on merit. I won't interfere. But yes, the timing works in both our favors. Ramona processes this. Victor sees her calculating, weighing independence against opportunity, pride against Tobias's needs. Why, she finally asks. Why do you care so much about helping me? Victor considers lying, offering safe answers about human decency and civic responsibility. Because 6 weeks ago, I watched you sing to your son on a sidewalk, and something in me woke up. I've spent 15 years being dead inside, building wealth, losing family, convincing myself that success matters more than connection. He pauses. Then, I saw you choosing your son over everything, working yourself to exhaustion to give him a life. And I realized I've never loved anyone the way you love Tobias, not even my own daughter. Silence. Ramona's eyes shine with tears. That's a lot of pressure to put on a stranger. You're not a stranger anymore. You're someone who blocked me, rejected my help, called me out for my mistakes, and somehow that matters more than any relationship I've had in decades. Victor manages a smile. You make me want to be better, even if you hate me for trying. I don't hate you. Ramona wipes her eyes. I hate that I want to trust you. Hate that part of me wants to say yes to the job, to the help, to letting someone share the weight for once. So say yes. And when it falls apart, when you get bored of the project, when I inevitably disappoint you or Tobias gets too attached and you leave, Ramona's voice shakes. I can survive my family abandoning me. I'm not sure I can survive you doing it too. The confession breaks Victor's heart. She's not rejecting his help out of pride. She's protecting herself and Tobias from future pain, from the inevitable moment when Victor proves himself as unreliable as everyone else in her life. I can't promise I won't make mistakes. Can't promise I'll always get it right. Victor steps closer. But I can promise I won't abandon you. Won't disappear when things get hard. I'm here, for as long as you'll let me be. Ramona opens her mouth, closes it. Tobias appears in the doorway, rubbing sleep from his eyes, wearing pajamas that survived the break-in. Mama? Where are we? Uncle Victor's house, baby, remember? Our apartment had a problem. We're staying here until it's fixed. Tobias spots Victor, runs over, throws small arms around Victor's legs. You kept your promise. You came back. Victor crouches, hugs the boy properly. Always. I told you I keep promises to 7-year-olds. Can we build the castle today? The better one you promised? Absolutely. After breakfast, what do you like? Pancakes? Waffles? I have a waffle maker that's been lonely. Tobias giggles. Waffles don't get lonely. Mine do. They told me yesterday. Very sad conversation. Ramona watches them. Something in her expression softens. Victor sees her decision forming, sees her choosing to take the risk despite her fear. I'll interview for the job, she says quietly. With Sarah. Proper process. If she thinks I'm qualified, I'll consider it. Victor's heart soars. He keeps his face neutral. They make waffles. Tobias chatters about school and nights and his best friend Marcus. Normal 7-year-old conversation. Ramona relaxes incrementally, smiles at her son's stories, eats actual food instead of pushing it around her plate. Victor's phone buzzes. Security update. He reads it, goes cold. Desmond Ashford just purchased a plane ticket to Connecticut. Destination: New Haven. Same city where Vivienne lives. Victor's mind races. Desmond doesn't know about Vivienne. Doesn't know Victor has a daughter. The Connecticut trip must be coincidence. Business. Unrelated. Except Victor doesn't believe in coincidences anymore. His phone rings. Vivienne. He answers immediately. Sweetheart, everything okay? Dad, there's a man outside our apartment. He's been sitting in his car for an hour, just watching. Mom's boyfriend told him to leave. He said he's waiting for someone. Vivian's voice drops to a whisper. He said he's your business partner. That you sent him to check on me. Victor's blood turns to ice. Lock the door. Don't let anyone in. I'm calling the police right now. He hangs up. Calls 911. Reports a suspicious person outside his daughter's address. Then calls his security team. Desmond Ashford is in Connecticut threatening my daughter. I need someone there in 10 minutes. Armed. Authorized to use force if he approaches her. Ramona stares. Your daughter? Vivienne, 15. Lives with her mother in New Haven. Desmond somehow found out about her. Victor's hands shake. He's escalating. Going after everyone I care about. Why would he target your daughter? Leverage. He knows I care about you, knows I'm helping you, so he finds my weakness, threatens what I love most. Victor grabs his keys. I have to go. Security team is on the way, but I need to be there. We're coming with you. No. Stay here. You're safe here. If he's willing to threaten a 15-year-old, nowhere is safe. Ramona stands. Besides, I want to meet your daughter. The girl brave enough to call her father Dad. The drive to Connecticut takes 90 minutes. Victor breaks every speed limit. Ramona sits beside him. Tobias sleeps in his car seat in back. Nobody speaks. The silence is heavy with fear and adrenaline. Victor's phone rings constantly. Security updates, police reports, Vivian texting that officers arrived, that the man in the car drove away before they could question him, that she's scared. They arrive at the apartment complex at 9 a.m. Police cars still block the entrance. Victor's security team meets them in the parking lot. 3 men in dark suits, with concealed weapons and serious expressions. Mr. Sterling. The target fled before we arrived. License plate matches Desmond Ashford's rental car. Police have a bolo out. He's gone to ground. The head of security hands Victor a tablet. But we found something else. Ashford's been conducting surveillance for weeks. Not just on your daughter. On you. On Miss Cole. On Tobias's school. The tablet shows photos. Dozens of them. Victor leaving his office. Ramona walking to work. Tobias playing at recess. Vivian leaving her apartment. All taken from distance with telephoto lenses. Professional quality. Obsessive documentation. Ramona goes pale. He's been watching us for weeks. Since before the diner incident. Since before he made contact at the hospital. Victor scrolls through images. He planned this. Every step. The cupcakes. The break-in. The reconciliation offer. All calculated to push you toward desperation. But why involve your daughter? Because I'm helping you. Because I'm blocking his access to you and Tobias. So he finds a new pressure point. Threatens Vivienne to make me back off. Victor hands the tablet back to security. Did police take a statement? Yes, sir. Your daughter was very composed, gave detailed descriptions. Timeline. Everything she noticed. The guard pauses. She asked if you were okay. Said to tell you she's fine and not to worry about her. Victor's chest tightens. His daughter was threatened because of him. Because he chose to help Ramona. Because he got involved in a situation that turned dangerous. Vivienne could have been hurt, could have been taken, all because Victor couldn't leave well enough alone. Ramona touches his arm. This isn't your fault, isn't it? Desmond came after her because of me. Desmond came after all of us because he's desperate and cruel. Because his family raised him to believe money matters more than people. Because he'd rather terrorize his own sister than accept consequences for his choices. Ramona's voice strengthens. You didn't make him this way. You just had the misfortune of caring about people he wants to control. They go inside. Vivienne opens the door before Victor knocks. She looks small. young, scared but trying to hide it. Victor pulls her into a hug. She clings to him, shakes slightly. "I'm sorry," Victor whispers. "I'm so sorry you got dragged into this. Not your fault, Dad. You told me to lock the door. I did. You sent help. They came. You protected me." Vivienne pulls back, looks past him to Ramona and Tobias. "You must be Ramona and Tobias. Dad told me about you." Ramona extends her hand. "I'm sorry we're meeting like this. Sorry my family drama put you in danger. Your family's crazy, but so is mine. My mom's probably going to lose it when she hears about this." Vivienne glances at Victor. "She's at her boyfriend's office. I didn't tell her yet. Didn't want the drama." They move inside. Vivienne makes tea. Moves through the cramped kitchen with practiced efficiency. Tobias sits on the couch. Looks around with wide eyes. Vivienne notices. Smiles at him. "You like video games? I have Mario Kart." Tobias nods shyly. Vivienne sets him up. Within minutes, they're racing. Tobias laughs when he wins. Vivienne cheers. The normalcy of it makes Victor's throat tight. Ramona watches them. She's good with him. Vivienne's good with everyone. Gets that from her mother. Victor sits. Exhaustion crashes over him. What do we do now? Desmond's escalating. Going after children. We can't just wait for his next move. We confront him, face to face. End this before someone gets seriously hurt. Ramona's jaw sets. He wants me desperate enough to reconcile with my parents. Fine. I'll arrange a meeting, but on my terms, with witnesses, with proof of what he's done. He'll deny everything. Claim the photos are misunderstandings. That the break-in was random. That he's just a concerned brother. Then we make him confess. Get him talking. Record it. Ramona pulls out her phone. I'll call him. Tell him I'm ready to discuss reconciliation. That I want to meet our parents. He'll jump at the opportunity. Victor's instincts scream danger. If he thinks you're desperate, he'll know it's a trap. Not if I sell it right. Not if I sound broken enough. Scared enough. Ramona's eyes harden. I've been acting strong for 7 years. Time to let him see what he wants to see. A desperate single mother who finally cracked. She dials before Victor can argue. Puts it on speaker. Desmond answers on the second ring. Ramona, I was hoping you'd call. I want to meet them. Mom and Dad. I want to hear them say they're sorry. That they want to know Tobias. Ramona's voice shakes. Perfectly performed desperation. But I need guarantees. I need to know you're not lying. I'm not lying. They genuinely want to make amends. They're at the estate now. Waiting. Hoping you'll come home. Desmond's voice drips false warmth. When can you come? Today? Tomorrow? Tomorrow. I need time to prepare Tobias. To explain who they are. Ramona pauses. And I'm bringing someone with me. Victor? Sterling. He's been helping us. I trust him. Silence. Victor hears Desmond breathing. Calculating. The CEO. Your boyfriend. My friend. The man who stayed with Tobias at the hospital when you showed up with your fake concern. Ramona's voice hardens slightly. If that's a problem, I won't come. No problem. Bring whoever makes you comfortable. Mom and Dad just want to see their grandson. Meet the man helping their daughter. Desmond recovers smoothly. Tomorrow, at 2 p.m., the estate. You remember the address. I remember everything, Desmond, including why I left. She hangs up, looks at Victor. Tomorrow we end this. Victor nods slowly, calls his security team. I need background on Roland and Constance Ashford. Current financial status. Health records. Any communication with their son in the last 6 months. He pauses. And I need audio surveillance equipment, professional grade, untraceable. Ramona's plan is risky. Desmond could turn violent when cornered. The parents could be complicit. A dozen things could go wrong. But doing nothing means living in fear, waiting for Desmond's next attack. watching over their shoulders forever. Better to force the confrontation, control the terms, end it on their timeline. Vivienne appears with Tobias, both holding controllers. We won the tournament. Tobias is actually really good at racing games. I beat the dragon, Tobias announces proudly. That's a dinosaur, but close enough. Vivienne ruffles his hair, looks at her father. What happens tomorrow? We go to the Ashford estate. Ramona confronts her family. We get proof of Desmond's schemes. Then we end this. Victor meets his daughter's eyes. You'll stay here with security. No arguments. Wasn't planning to argue. Sounds dangerous and boring. Vivienne sits beside Ramona. But after? When it's over? Can I come stay with you? In New York? Start the custody thing. Victor's heart swells. Yes. Absolutely yes. Good. Because this apartment is depressing. And Mom's boyfriend smells like cheap cologne. Vivienne wrinkles her nose. Plus, I want to get to know Ramona and Tobias better. They seem cool. Tobias beams. You're cool too. You let me be Yoshi. Yoshi's the best character, obviously. Vivienne grins. They spend the day together. Ordering takeout. Playing games. Pretending tomorrow isn't coming. Pretending they're not walking into a confrontation that could turn violent. Pretending this fragile peace will last. That night, Victor can't sleep. Stands at the window, watching the street. Ramona joins him. Wrapped in a blanket, hair loose around her shoulders. You don't have to do this, Victor says quietly. We can find another way. There is no other way. Desmond won't stop unless we force him to. And I need to know if my parents really want to meet Tobias. If there's any chance they genuinely regret their choices. Ramona leans against the wall. Even if that chance is microscopic. And if they don't? If they're working with Desmond? Then I finally stop hoping. Stop wondering if I made the right choice. Stop carrying the weight of their rejection. She looks at Victor. Either way, tomorrow I'm free. Victor understands. This confrontation isn't just about Desmond's schemes. It's about Ramona closing a door that's been open for 7 years. Bleeding her slowly. Keeping her anchored to pain. I'll be right beside you, Victor promises. Whatever happens. I know. That's why I can do this. Ramona smiles slightly. 6 weeks ago, I was alone. Now I have you. Vivienne. A possible job. A chance at stability. Desmond thinks he's cornering me. But actually, I'm stronger than I've ever been. She's right. Victor sees it clearly. Ramona isn't the desperate woman Desmond expects. She's a mother who survived 7 years of poverty and abandonment. Who built a life from nothing. Who raised a kind, brave child despite impossible odds. Desmond's about to learn what happens when you underestimate someone with nothing left to lose. The Ashford estate sits behind iron gates like a monument to old money. Sprawling lawn, fountain in the circular driveway. Mansion with white columns and too many windows. Victor's car feels small, approaching it. Ramona sits rigid beside him. Hasn't spoken in 30 minutes. Security follows in a second vehicle. Armed. Prepared for anything. Victor's wearing a wire. So is Ramona. Audio feeds directly to his legal team waiting 5 miles away. Every word will be documented. Admissible in court if needed. The gates open. Someone expects them. Victor drives slowly up the curved driveway, parks in front of marble steps. Ramona doesn't move. We can leave, Victor says gently. Right now. No shame. No, I need to do this. Ramona unbuckles. Opens her door. Steps onto pavement that probably costs more than her annual rent. Let's end this. The front door opens before they knock. A woman stands there. Mid-60s. Elegant clothes. Perfectly styled hair. She has Ramona's eyes. Ramona's cheekbones. Age and privilege separate them, but the resemblance is undeniable. Ramona. Constance Ashford's voice trembles. You came. Ramona says nothing. Victor sees her fighting tears, fighting hope, fighting the little girl inside who still wants her mother's love. A man appears behind Constance, tall, gray hair, expensive suit. Roland Ashford looks like old money incarnate. He studies his daughter with unreadable expression. Well, don't just stand there. Come in. Roland steps back, allows entry. The foyer is ridiculous. Chandelier, marble floors, staircase that curves like something from a movie. Ramona looks around. Victor knows she's remembering. This used to be her home. These people used to be her family. Desmond emerges from a side room, smiling, playing the concerned brother perfectly. Ramona, I'm so glad you reconsidered. Mom and Dad have been eager to meet Tobias. Where is he? Constance asks. Where's our grandson? Safe, away from here. Ramona's voice could freeze fire. I don't bring my son to places I don't trust. Roland's expression hardens. We're your parents, your family. If you can't trust us, I can't. You disowned me. Told me to abort my baby, or never return. Spent 7 years pretending I don't exist. Pretending your grandson doesn't exist. Ramona's voice shakes. Why would I trust you now? Because people change. Because we made mistakes and want to fix them. Constance reaches for Ramona. Stops when Ramona steps back. We were wrong. Cruel. We let pride destroy our relationship with you. But we're older now. We've had time to reflect. To regret. Convenient timing. Right when Desmond burns through the family fortune and needs access to my trust fund. Ramona looks at her brother. Did you think I wouldn't find out? That I wouldn't discover you're bankrupt? That this whole reconciliation is a scheme to steal from my son? Desmond's mask cracks. That's absurd. I came to you out of genuine concern. Mom and Dad's health is failing. They wanted to make peace before it's too late. Really? Victor pulls out his phone. Shows the surveillance photos. Explain these. Weeks of stalking. Documenting our movements. Planning your manipulation. Really, Raskinserv? Roland snatches the phone, studies the images. His face goes red. Desmond, what is this? Research. Making sure Sterling wasn't taking advantage of Ramona. Protecting my sister from predators. Desmond recovers smoothly. You can't blame me for being cautious. What about the break-in? Ramona steps forward. What about terrorizing my son? Threatening a 15-year-old girl? Is that cautious or criminal? I don't know what you're talking about. The cupcakes at Tobias's school. Contaminated with peanuts despite his documented allergy. The apartment break-in the same night you offered reconciliation. Showing up in Connecticut to threaten Victor's daughter. Ramona's voice rises. You orchestrated everything. Created crises to make me desperate. To push me toward accepting your help. Constance looks at her son. Desmond, tell me this isn't true. It's not. She's paranoid. Seeing conspiracies because she can't accept that her family genuinely wants her back. Desmond turns to his parents. This is exactly what I warned you about. She's been living in poverty so long, she can't recognize love anymore. Only suspects, ulterior motives. The words are calculated. Designed to make Ramona seem unstable. Victor sees it working. Sees Constance's expression shift from concern to doubt. Sees Roland's jaw set with familiar disappointment. I have proof. Ramona pulls out her phone. Plays the recording from yesterday. Desmond's voice fills the foyer. She's making this harder than it needs to be. Tell my sister to call me. Or next time, it won't just be furniture that gets broken. Silence. Constance goes pale. Roland's hands shake. Desmond's face drains of color. You threatened a child. Roland's voice is ice. Your own nephew. That's taken out of context. I was frustrated. I didn't mean Desmond scrambles. She blocked me. Refused to talk. I was trying to get her attention. By threatening violence against a 7-year-old? Constance backs away from her son. What have you become? Practical? Realistic? Someone has to save this family from ruin. Desmond's composure shatters. You two live in denial, pretending the money will last forever. But I've seen the books. We're drowning. The estate is mortgaged. Debts are compounding. Without Ramona's trust, we lose everything. So you terrorized your sister? Roland's disgust is absolute. Endangered your nephew? This is how you solve problems? I did what you were too weak to do. I found a solution. Ramona has 10 million sitting in a trust while we face bankruptcy. Sharing it is reasonable. Logical. She's being selfish, keeping it all. Desmond points at Victor. Especially when she's cozying up to a billionaire. She doesn't need that money. We do. Victor steps forward. The trust is for Tobias. His education. His future. Not your gambling debts or bad investments. Who are you to judge? You throw money at problems. Buy people's gratitude. You're using Ramona to feel better about abandoning your own daughter. Desmond's desperation shows. At least I'm honest about needing money. You pretend it's about caring. The accusation stings because it's partially true. Victor did use Ramona and Tobias to fill the void Vivian left. Did throw money at their problems instead of addressing his own. But he learned, changed, showed up when it mattered. You're right, Victor says quietly. I made mistakes. Used wealth as a substitute for connection. But I learned. I'm trying to be better. You're still the same selfish child, blaming everyone else for your failures. Desmond lunges, Victor sidesteps. Security moves in. Pins Desmond against the wall. He struggles. Screams. This is my house. My family. You can't do this. It's our house. Roland's voice breaks. And you're no longer welcome in it. Constance, call the police. Constance doesn't move. Stares at her son like he's a stranger. Tears stream down her face. How did we raise someone capable of this? You raise someone who learned that money matters more than people. That image matters more than truth. That family is a transaction, not a bond. Ramona's voice is surprisingly gentle. You taught him well. He's just better at it than you were. The words land like blows. Roland sways. Constance sobs. Security hauls Desmond toward the door. He fights, curses, promises revenge, threatens lawsuits. His voice fades as they remove him from the estate. Silence falls. Ramona stands in the foyer of her childhood home. Faces the parents who destroyed her, who let pride and shame erase their daughter. I didn't come here for reconciliation, Ramona says. I came for closure. To stop wondering if you ever regretted your choice. If you ever loved me more than your reputation. We did. We do. Constance reaches for her daughter. We were wrong. So terribly wrong. Please. Give us a chance to know Tobias. To be grandparents. To make amends. Why? Because you feel guilty? Because you're getting older and facing mortality? Or because you genuinely want a relationship with a grandson you've ignored for 7 years? Ramona's voice doesn't waver. I need the truth. Not pretty words. The truth. Roland and Constance exchange glances. A lifetime of marriage, communicating silently. Roland speaks first. All of it. Guilt. Mortality. Regret. But also genuine desire to know the boy. To know you again. We were cruel. Unforgivable. We can't change the past, but we want to try for a future. If you'll allow it. Ramona studies her father, her mother, sees their age, their frailty, the weight of their choices carved into their faces. Part of her wants to forgive. Let them meet Tobias. Give her son the grandparents she never had. But the larger part remembers. 7 years of silence, of struggle, of nights crying because her parents chose pride over love. Of explaining to Tobias why he didn't have grandparents like other kids. I'll think about it. Ramona finally says. but on my terms. Supervised visits, boundaries, respect, and if you ever use money to manipulate me or Tobias, I'm gone forever. No second chances. We understand, Constance nods. Whatever you need. And one more thing. You tell everyone. Your friends, your social circle, everyone who judged me for keeping my baby. You tell them they were wrong. That I was right. That Tobias is the best thing that ever happened to this family. Even if you never see him, you make that right. Roland's jaw clenches. Public admission means social embarrassment, loss of face, everything they valued 7 years ago. But he nods. Agreed. Ramona turns to leave. Victor follows. They walk out of the mansion, down the marble steps, into sunlight that feels like freedom. Security waits with the car. Desmond is gone. Likely in police custody. How do you feel? Victor asks. Lighter. Like I've been carrying stones and finally put them down. Ramona looks back at the estate. They might actually mean it. Might genuinely want to change. But I don't have to let them. I don't owe them forgiveness just because they're sorry. No, you don't. I might though. Eventually. Let them meet Tobias. Under supervision. If they prove themselves. Ramona smiles slightly. But not because I need them. Because Tobias deserves the chance to know his grandparents. If they're willing to be real ones. They drive away. The estate shrinks in the rearview mirror. Victor's phone buzzes. Text from his legal team. Desmond arrested. Multiple charges. Evidence overwhelming. He won't threaten anyone for a long time. Another text from Sarah. Ramona's interview scheduled for tomorrow. Position still available. Decision hers to make. Everything is shifting. Falling into place. Victor glances at Ramona. She stares out the window. Lost in thought. Processing 7 years of pain, finally acknowledged. Thank you, she says quietly. For standing beside me. For not trying to fix everything. Just being there. Always. They drive back to the city in comfortable silence. Back to Vivienne and Tobias, waiting together. Back to a future that's uncertain but hopeful. Back to family they chose instead of the ones they were born into. 3 months later, Ramona stands in Sterling and Hayes Financial Group's community outreach office, her office, complete with desk, computer, and a nameplate that reads, Ramona Cole, Family Resource Coordinator. She earned it. Interviewed with Sarah, competed against other candidates, got hired on merit. The job is hard. Demanding. She works with families in crisis, connects them to resources, helps them navigate systems designed to confuse and exclude. Every day, she sees herself 3 months ago, desperate, exhausted, alone. And every day, she helps someone find a path forward. Tobias attends the company daycare. Thrives with other children. Has friends. Stable meals. Educational activities. He still asks about the Ashford estate sometimes. About the grandparents he met twice under supervision. Ramona takes him once a month. Constance and Roland are trying. Learning to be grandparents instead of ATMs. It's awkward, slow, but real. Desmond is serving 18 months for stalking and terrorizing. Victor's lawyers made sure every charge stuck. Ramona feels nothing about it. Not satisfaction, not pity, just relief that he can't hurt anyone anymore. Victor knocks on her office door, pokes his head in. Got a minute? For my boss? I suppose. Ramona grins. Their relationship shifted. Not romance. Something deeper. Found family. People who chose each other, despite every reason not to. Victor enters with Vivienne. She lives with him now. Full custody granted after Claudette's financial crimes came to light. The transition wasn't easy. Vivienne struggled with trust. With believing her father would actually stay present. But Victor showed up every day for school events, therapy appointments, normal teenage drama. We have news, Vivienne announces. Dad's cutting back his hours. only working 40 hours a week instead of 80. Ramona raises her eyebrows. Victor Sterling, billionaire workaholic. Reducing hours? Turns out, I have a daughter who wants to spend time with me. And a job that's less important than being present for her. Victor shrugs. I'm training a successor. Someone brilliant and ruthless who'll probably surpass me within 5 years. I'll stay on as chairman, collect dividends, actually enjoy the wealth I spent decades accumulating. Who's this brilliant successor? You'll meet her at the board meeting next week. Former Harvard professor. Shark in negotiations. Exactly what the company needs. Victor smiles. I'm excited to see what she does with it. Vivienne pulls out her phone, shows Ramona photos. Also, we're renovating the penthouse, making space for Tobias to visit whenever. His own room, gaming setup, everything. That's assuming I let my 7-year-old stay over at a billionaire's penthouse, Ramona teases. Please, Mama? Tobias appears in the doorway. He visits Ramona's office after daycare. Does homework at her desk. Vivienne promised to teach me advanced Mario Kart strategies. The truth comes out. This is all about video games. Ramona laughs. Fine. But bedtime rules apply. No negotiating. Deal. Tobias high-fives Vivienne. They chat for a few more minutes. Make plans for dinner. Discuss Tobias's upcoming birthday party. Normal conversation between people who became family through choice and circumstance. After they leave, Ramona sits at her desk, looks out the window at the city below, thinks about 7 years of struggle, of nights wondering if she made the right choice, of loving her son fiercely while doubting herself constantly. She made it. Not just survived, but built something real. A career, stability, family that shows up. Her son growing up knowing he's loved, knowing he has people who chose him. Her phone buzzes. Text from Victor. Dinner at 6. Vivienne's cooking. Bring appetite and patience. Ramona smiles. Texts back. We'll be there, thanks for everything. The response comes immediately. Thank you for letting us be part of your family. We're the lucky ones. Ramona thinks about that. About luck, about choices, about how blocking a billionaire CEO led to finding real family, about how the worst moments sometimes redirect toward the best outcomes. She thinks about quiet justice, how Desmond faced consequences, how her parents acknowledged their mistakes publicly, how Claudette lost custody after exploiting Vivienne. Not dramatic revenge, just truth, finally mattering more than money. She thinks about her son, safe, loved, surrounded by people who would protect him without needing to be asked. That's the real victory. Not wealth, not status, just Tobias growing up, knowing he's enough exactly as he is. Ramona closes her laptop, packs her bag, goes to collect Tobias from daycare. They walk through the building together. He chatters about his day, shows her drawings, asks if they can stop for ice cream. Sure, baby. We can get ice cream. And then build Legos with Uncle Victor and Vivienne? And then build Legos. Tobias grins, takes her hand. They walk into afternoon sunlight. Into a future that's not perfect, but real. Into a life built on choices that honored love over money. Connection over pride. Family by choice over family by blood. Sometimes being blocked is the beginning, not the end. Sometimes rejection redirects towards something better. Sometimes the people who seem like strangers become the family you always needed. Ramona learned that. Tobias will too. And someday, when he's old enough to understand, she'll tell him the whole story. About the CEO she blocked. About the quiet justice that followed. About how the worst day became the first step toward their best life. But for now, they walk together, mother and son, toward ice cream and Legos, and people who show up when it matters, toward family that chose them back. And that's everything. If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more stories about quiet justice and second chances. Drop a comment telling us, have you ever had to choose between family and peace? Have you found your chosen family? We read every single one. Turn on notifications so you never miss our next story that inspires. Your thoughts in the comments inspire others who might be walking similar paths. Thank you for being part of our community. See you in the next one.